From the Diary of Rysandria. The watch apparently arrested witch hunter Jacob Bauer with a copy of the highly forbidden Liber Chaotis on his person. He will apparently be put on trial. There had obviously been a political play put in motion to destabilize the region. It turns out that the mob outside of the temple were there for Ulrich Fischer, who managed to escape when Bauer was captured. We all know that Bauer is innocent, at least. I can tell that those who believe it know it to be so. They had revealed their hand too early when they tried to imprison us as they had.
Dieter sat and waited by an upstairs window, while the others discussed what to do next. A mission was afoot for the adventurers to search the tavern that had the cultist base within it. Dieter stared at the angry mob who had erected their makeshift pyre to burn the witch hunter who was hiding inside with them. Nearby houses were being looted for any scraps that could feed the fire. As he stared, Dieter's eyes fixed on the licking flames. Losing focus to reality around him, he closed his eyes, and the darkness of nothingness swallowed him whole. He opened his eyes again, or at least he thought he had. Still he was surrounded by darkness. His thoughts were low and hard to access, as if he was busy doing something else, something he wasn't aware of. There was no breath. Yes, he wasn't breathing. He knew this, as he realized he was in some sort of liquid, yet no bubbles came from his mouth as he exhaled. Yet he had exhaled, so surely he was breathing. This thought alone was enough to take up his entire concentration. He could focus on very little else. Soon he couldn't even focus on that fact when his eyes began to adjust to the darkness around him. When he saw shape begin to become apparent in the blackness of the liquid before him. What he saw took him by surprise, yet it seemed like it was the most natural thing he had ever seen as well. A baby, not fully developed yet, floated before him, its body in a fetal position. As he came to the realization that there was no way it could possibly be born yet. So how was this? It was before him now. He looked down and saw his own hand. It looked different, like that of a growing baby. A strange anger began to take hold of him. He suddenly felt defensive and aware of threat. The baby in front of him floated up a little. Its umbilical cord came into view from below. Its hands flexed a little, fingers outwards then into fists as they had been previously. The anger was so intense now, worse than anything he had felt before. Suddenly the baby in front of him opened its eyes and glared at him. Its stare was horrific. Malice was clear upon its expression suddenly, and its eyes glared a terrible red colour. There was a blur as a surge of water whooshed around him. Next thing Dieter knew, the baby before him was struggling. Its umbilical cord had been severed. Its hands were around Dieter's throat and he was being choked. Dieter responded in kind. The baby before him was first to go motionless. Dieter felt satisfaction suddenly well up inside him. He had earned the right to life. He had wanted life more than the other. Crimson clouds floated through the liquid, filling the dark space around him. He began suckling on the nutrients of the dead meat before him. His first meal tasted wonderful. He didn't know what was waiting outside for him, but he knew he would find his way there somehow. The blood surrounded him, and red gave way to orange as Dieter's eyes were back on the pyre's flames outside. The red haze coming up from the smoke made his past vision still hang in front of his eyes as he shivered at the realization of another old memory. This one explained a lot for him. Everything made sense now.